So back in Spain, his family couldn't understand what they were hearing, and the confusion only got worse when just a few days later, they got a call from Swedish authorities who said that what they were told was not correct, that Miguel had not been killed, and that this was probably just a translation mistake. Now, Swedish police claimed that Miguel's death was not a murder case, but really he drowned, and that it was, quote, probably a suicide, end quote. They believed that he likely jumped from the deck of a ferry that was crossing into Stockholm, and that he ended his own life. The preliminary autopsy found a wound above Miguel's eyebrow, and bruising to the right side of his ribs, which in their eyes was caused when he hit the water really hard. None of this made sense to Miguel's family, as there was no indication that he would have ended his own life, especially in this way, so they wanted to talk directly to the woman who found his body, Sarah Adams. Swedish police wouldn't release any further information about her, citing privacy laws, but the police report listed her phone number, which was a relief to them. But when they dialed her phone number, they found that it was incorrect, and it didn't belong to anyone. Miguel's sister Blanca then called every Sarah Adams listed in Sweden, and I got chills when I read this, but none of them had any idea what she was talking about. So this is when two of Miguel's cousins said, hey, I need to go to Sweden to see his body for myself, because none of this is adding up. And when they went, Swedish authorities were very firm in the fact that they shouldn't see Miguel's body. Their reasoning was that he was too badly decomposed and it would just be traumatizing. But his cousins said that they were really firm about not wanting them to see his body. And not wanting to make a scene, they kind of just believed them and ended up not seeing his body. Instead, they were sent home with a glass jar containing Miguel's personal belongings, and even more questions than before. Miguel listed in his will that he wanted to be buried in London as he spent a lot of time there with an ex-girlfriend and loved it. So his family had his body transported to England. When his body arrived in November of 2005, authorities wouldn't let him just be buried. In the UK, it's required that anyone who dies from anything other than natural causes must undergo a post-mortem examination prior to burial. So the family had a second autopsy and examination done, and the findings are so disturbing. Miguel was buried long before his family received the autopsy results, but here's where things start to get really strange. So this medical examiner in England found absolutely no water in his lungs, or any sign of drowning or water inhalation. His lungs were completely normal, but most disturbing of all was that Miguel was missing 3/4 of his liver, and his heart was not inside of his body. It was just gone, and no one could account for it. This is not standard practice in Sweden to completely remove organs and then not return them to the body, and this was even confirmed by the same medical examiner who performed his first autopsy. According to them, they only took 2 small portions of his heart to be sent off for analysis, but other than that, he left their office with both his heart and his liver in the standard shape and size as a normal person. So this is obviously very alarming, and to make matters worse, the medical examiner in England couldn't determine his cause of death because of how decomposed his body was. So now his family was back at square one.